Warning, the following video is not made for kids. It's for older fans and adults too. You're useless little bugs. If you put these freight cars on the inside line, you wouldn't have so far to travel.
Rubbish, said Thomas. No crane has ever complained before.
Well, I'm complaining now. And Cranky banged his load down on the quayside.
And what did that load contain? Pretty much freshly made DVD copies of Cranky Bugs and other stories. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the DVD home medias for Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. I'm ZecoaTheDiesel. As always, I'm here with my good friend and host/creator of this series,
Bonnie, also known as Teapot 7. Hey, folks, welcome to episode 4 of Thomas and Friends Home Video Reviews, where today we're going to be taking a look at the very first Season 5 VHS ever released, Cranky Bugs and Other Thomas Stories.
Yes. And pretty much as always, as you guys know, Season 5 was my introduction to Thomas and Friends, so naturally, I actually did have the original, VHS copy and everything as a kid and everything. I did not have the original copy that included the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends logo. Pretty much I had more of the either 2001 or 2002, re-release and everything. But this was another one I did own on VHS for a long while. And I don't even when I got the DVD version of this. I want to say around maybe the 2010s or something like that. But pretty much this was another case where I had both the VHS and DVDs and such.
Well, this is one I had on DVD since I was a very, very little kid. I remember getting this one, and yep, I still have my original 2002 DVD. It's on the player right now as we speak.
Nice.
So, Cranky Bugs. All right, so let's go into a little bit of history with this one. This one came out first. Can I go first?
Okay, actually, I know. Go ahead. You go first.
So this one came out on VHS first on February 2nd, 1999. With
on
the original.
Day, no less.
What was that?
Pretty much on Groundhog's Day, no less.
On Groundhog's Day, yeah. This one, the original one had the original Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends logo. The re-release basically switched it out for the logo that we know today, the Thomas and Friends logo.
Mm-hmm.
That one came out.
And another interesting fact about this original VHS is that, pretty much for the first and only time, if you had this VHS, back when it was first released and everything, then pretty much you had the rare version where, right at the end, especially when the end credits got done and everything. You had the rare version where pretty much the Anchor Bay logo actually had a sound to it and such.
Yeah, which is something that never happened again. That was the only time it happened. And I remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, wait, does this has sound? Holy shit.
It sure does.
And that was the only logo they had that had sound until they redesigned it in 2003 where it explodes and then it cuts to the ship. You know which logo I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, pretty much it just basically explodes. You see a bunch of numbers coming out and everything, and then you get
it got cut to
the classic ship coming in and everything, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that one was introduced in 2003 actually.
Ah, nice.
So yeah, up until this point, it's still the quiet logo where you see the ship slowly walking in, and then you see Anchor Bay. Yeah, we're still in the time period where it's still that quiet logo. But yeah, so yeah, the VHS came out on February 2nd, 1999, and originally it ended with Night Train.
It did. But then, as soon as this finally came out in a DVD, which the first time that happened was on July 23rd, 2002. They actually replaced Night Train with 2 different songs, actually, for DVD and such.
Yes, and I wrote it down. It was Toby and Donald Duck.
Mm-hmm. And much like with Best of James and everything, this is another, a DVD to where, pretty much if you let, the whole, a theme song play out in the menu screen and everything, then pretty much the DVD will, start going into autoplay and such. Where not only you get to listen to all 6 stories and even listen to the 2 songs, but after the songs, it takes you right straight to the character gallery.
Yes, and I did test it out last night, and it did just that. So, yeah. So this is gonna be the first in a series of DVDs that's gonna continue the autoplay, because I think that stopped with Spills and Chills afterwards.
Pretty much, I want to say that you are correct and such because I don't remember like if 10 Years of Thomas had any kind of like autoplay as far as like the same one that like Cranky Bugs, Racist Rescues, and Runaways, and Spills and Chills had.
We'll have to check. We'll have to check once we get to 10 years of Thomas, which will be in a couple episodes from now. But
All right.
yeah. So for now, yeah, we're still in the era where it's autoplay, and then you get to everything. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get this out of the way just to just so we don't have to waste time in the DVD menu tour later on. But
All right.
there's no point in taking a look at the character gallery because it's exactly the same as in Best of Thomas, so there's no difference whatsoever.
Yes. So pretty much, unless if like the format is like totally different and everything, and pretty much from here on out, like pretty much if you guys want to see the character galleries and such, then pretty much just watch our like Best of Thomas episode.
Yeah, because the only thing that changes and the only time it does change is on the best stops, where basically you get the first character that's on the best stuff. So for example, if it's James, then best of James, and James is the first one. If it's best of
Yeah.
Percy, then Percy's the first one. If it's Gordon, then you know the drill.
Yeah. Although pretty much we did mention in like a Best of James, there were some characters that were added into the character gallery and such. So who knows? Like maybe somewhere down the line and everything. Like if we want to at least like include images of those characters and everything, either in this episode or the next episode where they are featured, and maybe we might do just that.
Yes. So yeah, just to get it out of the way, yeah, we're not gonna do the character gallery for this one because it's basically the same thing as Best of Thomas, and it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
exactly the same for the next season 5 DVDs we're gonna cover, which are Races, Rescues, and Runaways, and Spills and Chills. Same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And pretty much before we continue on and everything, much like with Best of James and everything, depending on like which version of Cranky Bugs that you got on home media, here are the toys that like you could have gotten. Here are the toys you could have gotten with like a set release and everything. So if you had like the original 1999 VHS of Cranky Bugs, you would have gotten an Earl Scarlowy.
okay, and I do
Um,
love Earl Scarlowy. I love the Earl Scarlowy engines because they look exactly the same as their real life counterparts.
mhm. And pretty much if you had the 2002 re-release, you could have gotten a One Railway Edward. And for the DVDs and such, pretty much if you had like, actually, pretty much if you had any one of these 2-pack DVDs with Thomas and the Treasure / Cranky Bugs, you could have either gotten a Win Thomas and Toby, or you could have gotten a Win Thomas with the dinosaur fossil car.
I do remember having the fossil card, but with Stepney actually.
Mm-hmm. And you also could have had you also could have gotten a Win Mavis as well too for one of the DVDs and such.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So yeah, Cranky Bucks. This was the very first VHS to feature none other than Mr. Alec Baldwin narrating.
Yes, and pretty much like even if VHS like makes notice of that as well too. Like pretty much in one of the VHS front covers and everything, it actually does mention that pretty much like all new stories, storyteller Alec Baldwin and
Yeah,
such.
I think that was exclusive to like the first printings, because afterwards they just got rid of it.
Yeah, yeah, which actually does make sense and everything because like yeah, by this time and everything, much like with Ringo Starr and such. Although George Carlin did have his fun time, like being a narrator as well as playing a Mr. Conductor for Shiny Time Station, pretty much like he was already at his. Pretty much George Carlin felt that like he already took in the role, like as far as he wanted to go and such. At this point, like he just wanted to focus more on his like a stand-up comedian as well as like any other roles that like he probably would have gotten for any movies or shows at the time and everything. So pretty much, just like last time and everything, Britt had to go and find a new narrator to pretty much cover not only for season 5 and season 6.
And who did she find? Well, because he signed on to do her movie, which at the time was still in pre-production. Because he
Mm-hmm.
signed on to play the role of Mr. Conductor, who did she find?
Alec Baldwin.
Yep.
And pretty much fun fact, unlike the last two narrators, at least in terms of America, Ringo Starr and George Carlin, Alec Baldwin does have some history with Thomas the Tank Engine actually, because according to him in an interview and everything, like he was already familiar with Thomas, thanks pretty much thanks to his daughter and everything for not only watching Shine Time Station, but even like buying some of like the VHS tapes and everything. So he was already familiar with the show as well as the theme song and everything. So by the time Britt like I came up to him and be like, "Hey, do you want to replace George Carlin for like a season 5?" Alec Baldwin was pretty much was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll do it."
And well, he became the narrator. Now I will say this: we're not gonna get into opinions of Alec Baldwin just yet. This is just a curiosity. I did
Mm-hmm.
read the season 5 American narration scripts. You can see them on the Google Drive that Warp Skill Cranky released when he released the drafts of the season 5
Yes.
episodes. I did read the American scripts, and Alec Baldwin skipped a lot of the dialogue. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Rubbish, said Thomas. We always arrange our cars like this, and no crane has ever complained before.
Mm-hmm.
That's one example. But yeah,
And pretty much I do know in By George and everything, originally in the UK and everything, as soon as Percy pulls George away from like the aquarium and everything, in the UK version, right after Michelangelo mentions that like both Scarlotti and Rheneas were pleased to like see George go and everything.
rollers are
Pretty much,
rubbish, so good riddance.
yeah, rollers are rubbish, so good riddance. But in the US, that line is actually like a guard, and pretty much it's just like Scarlotti and Rheneas making faces at him.
And that line was on the actual script. I did read the script for that one, and it was on the script. I guess they didn't do it because, well, America's different than the UK, but whatever.
Pretty much either American was different from the UK and everything, or pretty much I can imagine that pretty much I can also imagine that maybe Alec Baldwin did record those lines and everything, but either like he didn't say them fast enough or they didn't mash well with the scene they were going for in the American version, so they pretty much just opted to skip the lines altogether and such.
Yeah, which is understandable, because Alec Baldwin is a narrator that narrates much more slowly than somebody like Carlin and even Brandon. I think Brandon's the fastest narrator, the show ever had.
Oh, I agree and such, and pretty much for a time and everything, even Michelangelo's kind of had a more of a speed to his narration when compared to a Baldwin and such.
Especially in season 6.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Oh
okay,
yeah, I agree.
So Alec Baldwin is the new storyteller, and I'll be honest, and this might be a little bit of a controversial opinion. I was never the
Mm-hmm.
biggest fan of him as a kid. I've always found him in my opinion, he was the second most boring narrator when I was a kid. But
Which I mean, to be fair, you're not alone on that and everything. Pretty much I have heard I do know that Alec Baldwin can't be a split among the Thomas fans and everything. I pretty much heard a couple of Thomas fans that said they say that his season 5 narrations are the best and everything, and season 6 is where pretty much he's definitely a hit and miss with the fans and such.
I actually think that this might be a little bit of blasphemy. I actually think his narration worked better in 6 because the episodes, at least in my opinion, were much more gimmicky. And that's why I enjoy season 6 more than 5, because the episodes were kind of gimmicky. Like, for example, this character's gonna collect a jet engine, or we're gonna take chocolate to the chocolate factory. And season
I did
5,
get covered in chocolate.
yeah, and season 5 doesn't have that gimmicky episodes. It just has darker tones, which I love. But as a
Mm-hmm.
kid, I wanted gimmicky stuff like going to a chocolate factory or collecting a jet engine. That's probably
Or
why.
collecting a balloon and such, where pretty much you get to hear a person shouting, "We're out of hot air!
Shout out a voice, and then
Ah, what's happening?" Crash, bang,
bang,
and whoa
whoa
with the
with the
balloon, and
balloon and
landed
landed
right
right
on
on
top
top
of
of
James.
James. I can't wait till we get to that episode. Once we get to James and the Red Balloon.
Me too, man. Me too.
So yeah, I as of now, these latest rewatches have definitely improved my opinion on Alec Baldwin. I think he's a great narrator, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I agreed, and pretty much like with Ringo and George and everything, hearing him in his interviews and everything, you could tell that yeah, he's definitely another narrator that definitely did enjoy his time on the show and such.
And he loved Brit, like he said, and I just adore Brit.
Mm-hmm. And pretty much according to Alec Baldwin and everything, it seems that his favorite character outside of Thomas is definitely Sir Topham Hatt and such, which actually does show if you listen to how he makes Sir Topham Hatt sound.
Oh yeah, I think his Topham Hatt voice is the definitive voice for him, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I definitely do agree with you.
I think he and Michelangelo's are tied, but I think I'll give the slightest edge, and this hurts. I'll give the
Mm-hmm.
slightest edge to Alec Baldwin.
Thomas and Percy, this crane has an important job to do. I have heard you have not been helping him today. You will go to your shed to consider how you'll improve yourselves tomorrow.
Whereas Michelangelo would be like, Thomas and Percy, this new crane has an important job to do. I heard you've not been helping him today. You will go to your sheds and consider how you will improve yourselves tomorrow.
And honestly, listening to them back to back and everything, it almost kind of sounds similar enough to one each other and everything. Like, just the only difference between them is a little bit of their tones and delivery.
Yeah, it's Michelangelo does it with like this tone, like yes, you like this, but Alec Baldwin
Yes.
is like yeah, so I go down here. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely prefer Alec Baldwin because Alec Baldwin makes him sound perfect in my opinion.
Yeah, I do agree with you right there and such.
So so this is our first season 5 VHS. So what do we get for the first season 5
All
VHS?
right, so for the first 6 episodes that you would have gotten out of your first VHS tape of season 5, of course, like pretty much, of course, you cannot go wrong with introducing the episode that introduces season 5, Cranky Bugs. Then after Cranky Bugs, you get Lady Hat's birthday party, double teething troubles, Thomas, Percy, and old slow coach, busy going backwards, and a better view for Gordon.
6 jam-packed episodes.
Oh yeah, and pretty
Honest,
much, but
no, I was gonna say, I don't even know where to start because we're already starting with great episodes so far.
I know, and pretty much like although like compared to the other two VHSs are going to be coming up real soon and everything, even though like I did play those two VHS more than Cranky Bugs and everything, Cranky Bugs was definitely another VHS to where like I definitely would come back to it like from time to time because out of these 6 episodes right here, they're pretty much sort of like a 3 to 4. They're like 3 to 4 episodes to where like I would always come back for like time and time again whenever I want to rewatch those episodes on my own and such.
Yes, now I will say this: I did read the drafts for the episodes that are available, like Cranky Bucks, for example. That's the only one I read it in its entirety before we start recording this video. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain more once we get to the episode. So first off, let's start with Cranky Bucks, and I'll take this one.
Well, actually, before we do that, did you want to read the descriptions on
Oh
like
yeah, of
what both the
course,
VHS and DVD had to offer?
of course, yeah. Let me switch to the VHS on OBS for a second, so I can have a
Alrighty,
better view. So
you know,
better view, get it?
a better view for Bonnie.
All right, so if I can read this, it says, join Thomas, Gordon, Sir Topham Hatt, and their friends for exciting adventures on the island of Sodor. This is the VHS, by the way.
Yes,
Meet Cranky the Crane and watch Thomas and Percy come to his rescue after a destructive storm. Help Sir Topham Hatt celebrate Lady Hat's birthday party after I can't
after disastrous strikes.
and see how
He helped.
Toad realizes that going backwards is really useful. Don't miss the fun and magic of the island of Sodor with all of your favorite friends.
And remember that line, especially the magic part, because we could already see right here that, like, now that Brit doesn't have to worry about, like, adapting any stories from the Railway series and everything, we're slowly starting to see, like, what her version of Thomas the Tank Engine is in her mind.
Yeah, which we already
And
know.
because pretty much, it's like, yeah, this was released in 1999, so remember, we got one more year before that movie comes out.
And well, we know what happened.
Yeah. Now,
And,
in terms of
honestly, this is the final. And as much as it hurts to say this is the final time where Thomas actually felt like Thomas.
mm-hmm.
Because once Magic Railroad came out, it just changed the perspective from casual people. Because before the movie, casual people saw Thomas as like, "Oh, this is cool. Look at this. You know, this is a because it felt so real." Then Magic
Mm-hmm.
Railroad comes out, and oh yeah, it's that show because the trains can talk because Magic. And isn't that the show where they had this diesel with the claw and shit? It just
And
changed the perspective of the show.
isn't it? Yeah. And isn't that the show where like they had this conductor get high on like gold dust or something, and he was like talking to flowers and such, reading stuff off of windmills and everything, and yeah, like yeah, that show, right?
It just hurt the perspective of the show, sadly. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and read
All right.
I'll read the DVD one. I have it
Okay.
here.
Honestly, all right. So pretty much like at least in the DVD, I'll go ahead and spoil it for you. The only thing that's really changed between this and the VHS, at least from what I'm reading, is just the bottom part, where pretty much it says like, "Don't miss the DVD fun and magic on the island of Sora with all of your favorite friends."
Yes. And I also forgot to mention is that the DVD has the Ghislaine logo as well.
Yes, it does, and I believe the VHS has the logo, doesn't it?
No, because remember, this was still
Oh
when
yeah,
the
that's
Brit
right.
Allcroft Company was called the Brit Allcroft Company. Once Brit
Right.
resigned, from the company, they became Ghislaine.
Right. Yeah, that's right now. Okay.
So this is still the era where it's still Ghislaine, and I can already hear another company being like, "It's ours now."
Hmm. Yeah, it's all the show is ours now. It's all ours. We won't give it back now.
And if you know your Thomas history, you probably know what company that is.
Yep. Damn hash, bro.
Damn hit.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's it.
It's Hit Entertainment, but we're still not in the era of Hit Entertainment just yet. That'll come in 2003, actually. But
Yes.
this was the 2002 was the year that Hit acquired Thomas. But this is still the era where Ghislaine is still active because they wouldn't go out of business until the end of 2003. So but yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, there you go. That's the DVD back cover. So now let's go ahead and get to the episodes.
So first off, we have pretty much we have the title of the VHS right here, starting off with the very first episode, Cranky Bugs.
And I'll take this one just to start things off.
Go ahead.
Okay, so first off, great introduction to Cranky. I think Cranky is one of the show's best characters ever.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote in my notes here that I already mentioned this at the very beginning of the episode, but Baldwin admitted we always arrange our cars like this. You know we always arrange our trucks like this. That Angela said in the UK version. I also wrote in my notes, Cranky yells 10 out of 10.
Help! Call the engines from inside the shed. I can't!
Call Cranky! And also the yell when he falls down.
You got the UK version where it's just like, I can't call Cranky pathetically.
But you gotta give Angela's credit for the
Where's Baldwin? You get like the famous
perfect. And of course, I can't mention this episode without the storm scene. The storm scene is still very impressive to this fucking day.
Oh, I agree. Like, honestly, like that was one scene and everything where like it still clicks with me, like to this day and everything. That was one scene where even as a kid, I felt the weight and gravity, like behind that scene. Like when that ship was starting to come over, like to the engine shed and everything. Even I was getting goosebumps, like as a kid. Like, pretty much that was one scene. Pretty much, that was always going to be the one scene I'm always going to remember, like for as long as I live. Honestly, even if I like. Ever reach a point to where like I somehow stopped watching Thomas for a good long while, I'm always going to remember a scene like that in my head.
And you can't forget the music. Dun, dun, dun,
oh yeah.
Dun, dun. The ship gets closer and Cranky's slowly starting to fall. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I mean, honestly, like season 5 was definitely Mike and Jr.'s best work to this day on the show.
I agree. Yeah, they never topped season 5, in my opinion.
No, they didn't. And honestly, it's very much for the best and
it's
such.
for the best, yeah, I agree. So, I also wrote in my notes here, and this is predictable. It says, hate the fat controller in the draft.
Yes. Yeah, because pretty much, like, in a draft version and everything, like, it's kind of similar enough to, like, how it was in, like, the final version. But in the draft version and everything, pretty much the top of had threatens, like, Thomas the President just being like, hey, if you guys don't behave and everything, I'm going to get diesels in here and they're going to replace your work, all right? So shape up.
Yeah, honestly, to me, I hate how Sir Topham Hatt is in the drafts because, holy shit. Wait till we get to,
wait till we get to Stephanie Gets Lost and such.
Yeah, wait till we get there, and also in Sir Topham Hatt's Holiday.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, honestly, in this draft and everything, like, yeah, like, it's a little, like, too far and everything, but honestly, like, it's not too far enough and everything. Like, honestly, like, even in the final version, I could see Sir Topham Hatt, like, in a more toned down version, pretty much, like, giving Thomas and Percy a warning that, like, they don't start shaping up, then, like, yeah, they're gonna get new engines to, like, do the jobs for them and everything, but honestly, like, but honestly, yeah, I do understand why, like, not everyone like is a fan of like Sir Topham Hatt in the draft versions and such, because pretty much as the Unlucky Tug said it best, had Britain not been there to at least like
control David
bounce off, like,
control
bounce off like ideas with David Min and everything. That and pretty much as Barney also said as well too, that like all the people out there that call like Chitama had a dictator and everything definitely would have used this draft version of season 5 as living proof.
They would have had a fucking field day. And
Yeah.
also the drafts are pretty much proof that David Mamet had a completely different vision for the show. It almost felt like Tux in a way.
In a way, it did, yeah.
And I already mentioned,
yeah, with honestly like a really, it's really like the opposite effect. It's really like the opposite effect to like the version of Thomas Britt had in her mind and everything, where it's nothing but like magical stuff and everything. And then just like learning how to share and everything, how to be kind to one another. Like, yeah, honestly, like Britt and David really could not have been like total opposites when it comes to like how they view pretty much how they view Thomas after years of working on the show with just like adapting the Railway series and such.
yeah, and honestly, I was gonna mention this. I feel, as you guys already know, but for the ones that don't know, Britt and David fell out during Magic Railroad. When Magic Railroad was being produced, they had a falling out, and this is just my opinion. But I feel that when Britt stepped down as chairman of her own company, and then they brought back David Mamet for season 6. I felt, this is just me, I felt like he was like, oh yes, I'm in charge now. Now I'm gonna take control. Because now I have these writers that we're gonna make our version of Thomas. Who needs Britt?
Yep, and then pretty much like we saw the results when it came to season 5. Oh, actually season 6, actually.
Because I feel a lot of what was in those season 5 drafts ended up in season 6 in some shape or form. Like Sir Thomas being even more stern. I say character plots that are, questionable, but that's another topic for another day. Anyway, so back to Cranky Bucks. Yeah, honestly, this is a great way to start off season 5's run on home media. Like the first.
Oh, I agree and such.
Like
go ahead, you first.
I was gonna say that the first episode we get is one where basically a storm happens and then a crane falls down. Hell yeah!
Oh yeah. And not only that, but like this episode, like already starts off with like some very great humor and everything, especially when it came to like Cranky with Thomas and Percy and everything, where pretty much right at the beginning, everything, as soon as like Gordon and James were like stroking Cranky's ego and everything, pretty much Cranky just looked at the like 2 little bugs as he calls them and everything, and it was just like, yep, time to bully them.
And then at the end, and this is my favorite part of the episode. Oh, thank you, said Gordon. What will I do without you? Well, I had to be rescued before I could help you, but I never thought it would be a couple of small engines. Thank you. I'll never
be rude again. However, you 2 little bites are on my way, so move over. Ha! Said Percy. He's back to bugging us. Don't move! You're still attached to Cranky! But it was too late. I especially love how both Thomas and Percy, like, wearing their shocked faces, just watched Cranky fall right back down on the rails again. Like, I pretty much, like, I don't remember, like, if I ever, like, laughed at that scene as a kid and everything. But nowadays, every time I see that scene, especially with the way Alec Baldwin was, like, narrating that scene and everything, like, I still get a good chuckle out of it here and there.
You know what would have made the scene even more funny?
What?
In the draft version, it says that they were planning to end it with a freeze frame of Cranky falling. If that would have ended up in the final episode, I would have fallen on my chair laughing.
Okay. Honestly, you know what? Like, yeah, can you just imagine, like, like right as Alec Baldwin said, but it was too late, and then right halfway and everything, like, right before Cranky was about to hit the rails and everything, you actually do see that freeze frame and everything, and then pretty much like. Then pretty much you hear like the season 5 ending theme song where it's like and then the neighbor plays.
So you would be like, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened?
I mean, honestly, like just thinking about it right there and everything, it sounds like I'm pretty much just thinking about it right there and everything. It almost sounds like an end of like a Wile E. Coyote short right there and such.
But it was too late. That's all, folks. That's all, folks. Just kidding.
Go home, folks.
I really wish the episode would have ended with a freeze frame, to be honest.
I mean, you know what? Like, if you ever feel like for it and everything, like, I would definitely be down to at least like I pretty much do some kind of editing and everything. At least like out of you and me and everything. and pretty much like just try to recreate just try to recreate that exactly what that would have looked like had pretty much like had that joke actually been kept in the final
Actually,
episode.
the Unlucky Tuck did something like that in his Let Me Tell You About Season 5 video, where he actually did but it was too late, and you hear Cranky and then in the middle
Ah.
I would have
Alright, I guess you do that actually after this then.
I would have killed for the episode to end like that. But as it ends, normally still a good ending, because you still get Cranky still something like Cranky still calls the little engines bugs, but he never calls
But ever
them
since that stormy night, he never calls them bugs
bugs
or
or
mice
mice, because he
because he
knows
knows
they
they
might
might bite
bite
back.
back. Classic. I still like that ending. The ending that the episode got. I still like that ending though.
Oh yeah, same here and such. And pretty much like yeah, like for being like the very first like Thomas character that's not an alternate character of any way, shape, or form and everything. Like pretty much honestly, it's no reason why Cranky still remains a fan favorite to this day and such.
I mean, he's been a fan favorite that he's still in the show to this very day.
He is. And pretty much like no doubt like yeah, we're never gonna see him in the reboots and such, no doubt about it.
Yeah, in the 2026 reboot, which as of the day we're recording this, it has not aired as of yet.
No, not yet. We're still waiting for it. Damn it! Where is it, Mattel?
Where is it? Yeah, who knows? Maybe we might post this on the day it comes out, and then boom, trailer drops.
And then pretty much poop by a trailer drops, or pretty much poop the whole movie drops for no reason.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I think Cranky Bucks is an excellent way to start off this tape. What do you think?
I mean, I agree with you. Like, no arguments right there. Like I said, this was one of the episodes and everything where like I remembered it the most as a kid and such. And pretty much like outside of Cranky and everything, like yeah, that storm. Like I said, that storm scene right there, it's always going to be one of those scenes I'm always going to remember to this day and such. Because, like I said, especially with the way that ship and the music like pretty much sell like the dramatic scene of that ship coming into the engine shed and trapping the engines, like it pretty much that's still an epic scene to this day and such.
I totally agree. But yeah, so then Cranky Bucks ends, and then we get the next episode, which is one of my favorites from this season, Lady Hat's birthday party.
Yeah, so pretty much with Lady Hat's birthday party and everything, pretty much that's the title success. Lady Hat, which actually at this point and everything, like it's the first time she's actually been named in the show and everything. All the other times, like between seasons 1 and 4, she's always just been referred to as Topham Hatt's wife and everything. This is the first time where like she's actually given a name. Although, like apparently she's still called Lady, but baby steps and such.
Yeah, true. So yeah.
But anyway, honestly, like this is one episode where like I liked it just fine as a kid. Nowadays and everything, I appreciate this episode a lot more because this is actually the very first time where like pretty much we're having an episode focused on not an engine this time, but an actual human, be it Sir Topham Hatt in up himself and everything. And pretty much this episode shows the perfect highlight of like who Sir Topham Hatt is when he's not just working on the railway and everything. Pretty much he's a kind, loving husband and everything that pretty much like wants to do everything he can to get to his wife's birthday party on time. And honestly, pretty much just seeing him like trying to get a ride from like both Caroline as well as George, but he keeps like messing up no matter what. It keeps messing up for him, and he keeps having like such rotten luck and everything. Like, pretty much on the one hand, you feel very sorry for this poor man and such. But then, of course, like as a kid and everything, like you also can't help but to laugh at some of the failures that like Sir Topham Hatt keeps on facing and everything as he tries to get to his wife's damn party and such.
Yeah. Especially, I love that, like, he goes on George, and then all of a sudden, George starts splashing oil, and then
oil all over. And no matter, and pretty much, like, that's not the only thing. Like, pretty much, it isn't bad enough that Sir Topham Hatt had to get oil splashed all over him, but, like, something happened to George and everything, to where, like, he had to get veered off into a siding, and Sir Topham Hatt, like, fell over George and landed right into a muddy ditch. Close to where Thomas was taking on water.
And then you see him sinking into the puddle itself. Oh my god.
Bother.
I wouldn't blame... the way Alec Baldwin sold that scene, 10 out of 10. Because you can tell how fucking frustrated he was.
He is. Like, honestly, like, I pretty much just... Okay, honestly, I can imagine if this was, like, the draft version of, like, Sir Topham Hatt and everything, he probably would have, like, thrown his hand into the ground and start stomping on it with his feet because of how pissed off he is.
Thomas, I've never seen Sir Topham Hatt in such
Oh,
a
I had
mess.
in such a mess. Can I help you, sir? Asked Thomas's driver.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm fine right here and everything. Like, I pretty much decided to become a little piggy and everything. What do you think, man?
And I'm afraid our fireman is taken ill. Then I'll be your fireman.
And I'll be your fireman, cause why the fuck not? Said Sir Topham Hatt. Thomas was excited. Hooray! We get to make Sir Topham Hatt our slave. What was that, Thomas? I mean, get on board, sir.
It's classic. And yeah, this is the first time he's actually a fireman, which actually, if you know the history of the show, this will not happen until the very last episode of the entire show.
Which, like, yeah, like, I didn't think about it and everything. Like, I would not be surprised if this episode, like, pretty much I would not be surprised if this episode inspire, like, the whole storyline for, like, Thomas meets the Queen and such. Or at the very least, like, Thomas the Royal Engine, I'd just say.
Thomas the Royal Engine, yeah, from season 24, the final.
Yeah, because, like, pretty much, show. Like, yeah, because pretty much the way that, like, Sir Topham Hatt and Thomas, like, get into, like, their own troubles and everything, like, are almost kind of eerily similar to, like, pretty much like the bad luck Sir Topham Hatt was getting on his way to his wife's birthday party.
And that episode was written by Michael White, who was a fan, actually. A fan that wrote for the show, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I can see the comparisons there. But, yeah, my favorite parts of this episode are basically Alec Baldwin's Lady Hat voice, and also...
It's perfect, my birthday party, said his wife.
You look splendid, Topham dear. And I'll wear my finest hat just for you. Your birthday is a great occasion.
It is, so don't be late.
Don't worry, my dear. I shall be spick and span and right on time. And also, let me do the voice. Hold on.
Okay.
I have to attend my wife's birthday party and I cannot be late. Please give me a lift.
I'll try, sir. Okay, which, like, honestly, you know, like, for as much as I do love, like, George Carlin really attempted to, like, give Caroline the southern accent and everything. I'm sorry, but, like, Alec Baldwin, like, does a much better job of Caroline, honestly.
I literally burst out laughing when he said,
my engine will overheat.
I literally burst. I every time I hear that line, I burst out laughing because of the way he says, "I'm hot. My engine will overheat." And
yeah. I pretty much take it into imagine to be like, I'm hot. And so Topham Hatt's just like, lady, I already got a wife, all right? Don't make this weird now.
I still can't with that line. It makes me laugh. But yeah, my
pretty much let it be known that Sir Topham Hatt never actually did brought Hell back to Caroline, because after this we never see her again and such.
No.
So pretty much it's only my assumption and everything that Sir Topham Hatt, like, it's only my assumption that Sir Topham must have forgotten what happened to Caroline and such.
I'll send for help. Call Sir Topham Hatt. Stay there.
Stay there. That's all I can do.
Love
and then, pretty much later, as soon as, like, Sir Topham Hatt and Lady Hatt get back to the party, you know, dear, I can't shake this feeling. There was someone I promised that, like, I was sending hope to. I'm sure it's no big deal.
And of course, the final line. Well, thank you, my dear.
Thank you, my
I know
dear.
this was
I knew it was my special birthday party, but I didn't know it was fancy dress.
Everyone laughed.
And you know what? Honestly, like, that is my favorite scene out of the whole show, because, like, honestly, it really does show you how much those two really do love each other.
And then hearing "Happy Birthday" to you in the background, love it.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, you know what? Like, yeah, honestly, the more I talk about it and everything, like, I think this is definitely one of the best season 5 episodes, like, out there and everything. And pretty much it shows that, like, pretty much here's a season 5 episode. It doesn't have any dark tones. It doesn't have any, like, you know, dramatic scene or anything. Like, pretty much this is an episode where pretty much, like, we're just treated to, like, how Sir Topham Hatt's life is when he's not working on the railway and everything. And honestly, like, for being the first, like, Sir Topham Hatt, like, a center episode as well out there, this is a very great way to, like, show off who this man is. Like, you know, when he's just, like, you know, by himself and doing family stuff and everything.
And this is the episode that, to me, solidified Alec Baldwin being the definitive voice of Sir Topham Hatt, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, same here, honestly.
Because this to me is like the perfect episode to showcase that Sir Topham Hatt voice, and it's perfect.
Agreed. I definitely do agree with you right there. So honestly, like, I have no complaints with, like, Lady Hatt's birthday party whatsoever. Like, honestly, this is still my favorite episode of season 5 as a whole.
Oh yeah. To me, I would say this is probably one of my favorites. My favorite episode of season 5 is not until we get to another season 5 DVD coming up soon.
Alrighty, well, pretty much I'll be looking forward to that whenever we get to that DVD.
Yeah.
Well, before we go on, there is a little interesting note. I don't know, like, if you took this
Yes,
and
I took
everything.
this note. I think. Let me go ahead and say it. I think I know
All
exactly
right,
what
go
you're
right
going to.
ahead. 'Cause I think you already know what I'm going to be mentioning.
Yeah. So, and this happened. This shocked me when I was a kid, actually. So, all right. So the episode ends, and then you get to the name board, and then you hear do 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 do, and I'm like, wait a second. That's not the end credit theme. That's the opening theme.
It is, and actually, fun fact: this is not the only time that's actually happened and such. Like, I can't remember off the top of my head when it was used, but I do know that like that has happened in like the early VHSs before, especially in the US and everything. So yeah, pretty much the name board sequence that we're getting treated to and everything, pretty much is almost equivalent as if like we're starting. It's almost equivalent as like the season two like name board sequences, at least in the UK and everything, where pretty much like right as we get to like a Daisy name board sequence, you hear the do 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 do,
And then you see the episode title. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
yeah.
that shocked me as a kid because I'd never seen that before, and I think this was one of the very last times this happened.
I think you might be right on that because, like, I can't remember, like, because yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, like, if this ever happened again and everything. So, pretty much, I think you might be right on that front. And yeah, like, pretty much same here. Like, pretty much, I also do remember as a kid listening to it for the first time and everything, and like, pretty much, I also thought it was kind of like a cool thing. So, just like, oh, hey, like, we get like, the opening theme instead of like, the end credits theme.
Which actually, I actually kind of enjoyed actually when I was a kid. I used to loop it all over again because I was like, hang on, this is a unique thing. This has never happened again.
Yeah, it is.
So after the name board sequence ends, we get double teething troubles. And I'll be honest with this one. If there's one episode I will take out of this tape, it would be this one.
Honestly, like as much as I want to take it out and everything on this tape and such, like honestly, like the only like episode from any other VHS I would probably swap this one out to. Like, if I pretty much if I had to pick and everything, I probably would maybe swap it out with maybe something like, hmm, maybe something like a Thomas and Rumors and such from like Make Someone Happy and everything.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great choice because I'll be honest, like Thomas and the Rumors is it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb and makes someone happy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair and such. But honestly, like, but honestly, I actually go ahead. You go first with double teeth troubles.
I don't have much to say on this one. I only have two notes for this one. I only wrote
All right.
Derek is a cool character. Love that his troubles mirrors his real life basis, which were a nightmare.
Yes.
And I also wrote disappointed Derek never returned afterwards, unless you count that little cameo in trying to do things better, but that's all
Yeah.
about it. Cause
What?
honest,
All right. Well. All right. Well, at least for me and everything, like at least in terms of double teething troubles. Okay. Honestly, there are a few highlights I do have with this episode and everything. One highlight I do have is that like I love how like Alec Baldwin tries his best to like mimic George Carlin's version of a Bill and Ben and everything, but still takes it into like a completely different route and everything. That's my line of cars," said Bill. "It's not. It's mine," squeaked Ben. "Yours is over there. It's mine. It's not. It's mine. It's not."
their friend Boko was worried.
Your friend Poco was worried.
Stroke
And yeah, pretty much like get used to this, folks, because pretty much until like the reboot, the 2026 reboot comes out and everything, this was the very last time we ever got to solve Poco of the whole entire show.
Stop crying, you two. The only thing you have left to share
Well, what the share is
trouble.
trouble. Silly, stop, Bill.
Silly yourself.
Silly yourself, Trouble Ben.
Bill and
Bill
Ben,
and
behave
Ben,
yourself.
that's your top of hat.
In the UK version, he has an extra line. He says, Bill and Ben, behave yourselves, or I shall send you back to your sex.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because the US completely got rid of a couple lines, like we said at the start of this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, it's not a bad episode. It's not. It's far from being awful. I just find that there are much better episodes than this one. That's all.
Yeah, honestly, like I think what hurts this episode a little bit is that like pretty much it does have a plot going for it and everything, but like because this episode spends way too much time like building up like a Derek coming on over to like the quarry and everything, that like by the time he does get to the quarry and tries to help out and everything, like we're already like almost we're literally almost like done with like the episode itself and everything. That honestly that like pretty much like Derek's whole performance really just feels like underwhelming. Like at the end of the day and everything, like pretty much literally right at the beginning and such, like we could already tell what kind of problems he's going to have, and literally not like in a moment, like not within after a couple of minutes, he decided to help out Bill and Ben with the trucks and everything. Then pretty much he's already broken down way all over again.
And it hurts to say this. It's kind of a predictable episode because we know what's gonna happen. You know, it starts well,
Yeah.
and then I'm overheating again, and then yep, it happens. Although
Oh,
he's not
sort of Ben.
although he's not a bad character, I think he got
No, he's
potential.
not. Like, pretty much like right out the bat and everything. Like, he's very much different than what Class 40 was back in a Bowled Out and everything. Like, pretty much right out the bat and everything. Like, Derek is very much a super friendly engine and such.
And you can tell he was excited to get to work. It's like you take the front, I'll push from behind.
I'll push from behind. What fun! And also, you know what? Like, the whole scene of Bill and Ben pulling the trucks and the diesel and everything. Like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Britt and David having their own a super rescue moment and such in that regard.
That's the closest one. Yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, honestly, to me, this episode is pretty predictable, and it's far from being awful. I don't think this is the worst episode of the season. Which actually, the worst episode of the season, in my opinion, is a Big Surprise for Percy. But but I think this is miles better than a Big Surprise for Percy, in my opinion. But it still feels kind of predictable. I see this as one of the weaker season 5 episodes, in my opinion.
Man, I do agree with you right there, because honestly, like I said, at least for me and everything, like I also don't hate the episode, and coming back to it and everything after I haven't seen it for a very long while. Like I said, there are a lot of good things this episode does provide for and such. It's just that honestly, it's one of those where the story really is the weakest point of of this episode. Not just the story, but even with the way it was structured, and even having that structure trying to complement itself with the time limit and Thomas pretty much Thomas was still under during that time, being 5 minutes and such, and pretty much being under those 5 minutes really did hurt the episode in the end, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, it really hurt. If this was 7 minutes, then yeah, that would have been different.
Yeah, honestly, if it was a 7 minutes and everything, then maybe there could have been a lot of stuff that definitely would have had this episode become a lot more better and everything. Like, they definitely would have fleshed out Derek a lot more, and definitely have Bill and Ben get to know Derek a little more as well too. Maybe have a scene where the way that Shatabam had will send him away and everything, and they can put in a good word and be like, hey, even though Derek broke it down and everything, he actually did try his best to help us out. Please don't send him away, sir.
That would have been perfect. But as it stands, yeah, honestly, one of the weaker season 5 episodes.
Yeah, I agree. But luckily, this next Thomas episode is anything but weak. Thomas, Percy, and old Slowcoach.
And I gotta start with this because
go ahead.
Everyone is so much happier when springtime comes.
Everyone except Sir Topham Hatt. He seems to be working us harder than ever. I'm tired of these coastal runs.
He just wants everything to be ready for the holidays. Anyway, salty air makes me all cheerful in my smoke bots.
Pa, snorted Jane. It's the countryside that gets me all fired up. It's the only place to be. And he
I wrote in my notes. I wrote that line in my notes, and guess what I wrote afterwards?
What?
And Whelp episode comes back with karma with James's cars catching fire. Lol.
Oh, help! Cried James. But yeah, honestly, that scene right there, that was another scene that gave me goosebumps as a kid, because pretty much you see that close up of that a fuel tanker leaking and everything, and even as a kid, I just had this sinking feeling in my body that something bad was going to happen. And well, as all one said, then suddenly it caught fire. Oh, help! Cried James.
And then the next scene,
like I said, that's another scene that still lives rent free with me to this day and such.
And of course, I gotta mention this. I think this is our first introduction to gay James.
Yes, pretty much. Honestly, okay, yeah, pretty much if you want to get technical and everything, yes. In terms of the VHS releases and everything, yes, this is the first episode where we get to hear
in terms of the VHS, yes, in terms of the VHS, I forgot to mention, yeah,
because don't forget, before this VHS and everything, Thomas, season 5 actually did had another shot of being aired on TV with a story time for Thomas, but it was only aired on the Fox Family Channel and everything. And pretty much by that point and everything, Barney and I were not even born yet when that series came out and everything.
It
So
was
really,
short. It was
really
short.
had no idea what that show was about. Like,
It was short lived. It was very short lived. Like it only lasted like one season and only had a couple episodes and then it ended.
mhm.
Nothing else.
Yeah, like yeah, pretty much like off the top of my head and everything. Like, pretty much off the top of my head and everything. Like, I don't even remember like when was the first time I ever like heard that series and everything. Because like I don't think anyone had like any recollection of the series until like years later and such.
The only thing I do know about the series is that it included 2 episodes with Thomas, and then in the middle you included an episode of Britt Allcroft's other show, Magic Adventures of Mumphy, which
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck is that.
Pretty much like from what I understand with Muffy, she's just an elephant, and I think that's about it.
She's an elephant, and I guess that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get.
that's
All
it.
right, so we haven't seen the show, but if you guys like that show and continue to love it, it's just we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but yeah, but pretty much like yeah. So pretty much this is a season where like pretty much we get like Alec Baldwin's interpretation of James, and I don't know, like I don't know. To me, like I always did like this James voice and everything. Like I don't know why, but like the more I listen to his James voice and everything, like I'm pretty much sold that like yeah, this is actually what James should sound like to me and such.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness! Why are you complaining all the time? What is that? Huffed James. Like your smoke box, Percy, laughed James.
And also, we can't forget, what was that?
What was that? If you can't push cars properly, Henry, why not talk to a tree instead? You know how much you like the forest. Oh, help! Cried James. Go away!
But of course, the tree
Of course,
couldn't.
the tree couldn't. Yeah, honestly, I mean, like, yeah, honestly, like, if not Michelangelo's and everything, then, like, I think Alec Baldwin would have been, like, a perfect, like, a second choice to, like, voice James and everything if we were given a chance to, like, have our own voice cast for each of these engines.
Yeah, I think he's the best voice of James. Best voice of James after in my opinion, Carrie Shale and Rob Rackstraw.
Mm-hmm. And I know, like, honestly, like, yeah, like, cause pretty much, like, listening to, like, the first, like, 4 seasons of, like, season 13 and 16 in terms of, like, the U.S. narration for James and everything, like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I think I could tell, I think I could see a little bit of, like, Alec Baldwin's own, like, a narration being the inspiration for that James voice and such, because they all sound similar enough to each other.
Yeah, that voice lasted until season 18, actually.
Nice.
The one that you probably remember from season 13 to 16. That was Carrie Shale.
Yeah.
Afterwards, that's when Rob Rackstraw took over and gave him a different performance. Like the performance on Adventure Begins, I'm talking about. That's very different.
Yes.
I may not be as big as you, Edward, but I'm bigger than Edward, and there's nothing wrong with wooden bricks either.
Unless they catch fire, of course. Now, move
Get up,
on.
Gordon, said James.
Yeah, but yeah. Honestly, yeah, I love Gay James. I'm gonna call him Gay James because I love that voice performance. Because yeah, and actually, Alec Baldwin was interviewed about that on Conan O'Brien actually, where he's like,
Yes, he did,
"What
and
do you mean?"
pretty much the only thing he told that he only told the host was just like, "Oh, that's your interpretation."
Well, that's your turn.
Which I mean, like he's not wrong. So it's like technically it is our interpretation and everything. So pretty much like whether or not it was intentional for Alec Baldwin to make James gay and everything, like pretty much like you know what, no judgment on our part.
No judgment on my part either. I just think it's a great performance.
It is
another favorite part of mine in this episode is I'll basically have to say because this line is so stupid. I'll read it. We are completely out of water. We can't use seawater because it clogs our works. We'll just have to let that building burn. And I wrote in my notes, what?
Which I mean, okay, I was telling this guy privately and everything, like, and honestly, like, now that I think about it and everything, like, I do remember that, like, way long ago when, like, California was having their, like, fire problems and everything, like, I do remember, like, there was a clip and everything where, like, the fire chief, or at least, like, one of the firefighters, like, voiced their concerns about, like, battling the fire because, like, they were running out of water at that point and everything, so I mean, like, honestly, like, I could actually believe a little bit, especially back then and everything, if pretty much like firefighters had this like protocol to where like they did somehow ran out of water and everything, and pretty much like yeah, like there's literally nothing else they could do except either wait for backup to show up or just let something burn.
I just found it kind of stupid because like the way it said, we'll just have to let that building burn.
We'll just have to let that building burn, all right? I just hope that like nobody's inside the building and everything, and that like they won't be mad at us for leaving the building catch on fire. But I'm sure everyone's okay. And then literally someone in the room was just like, "Oh, I'm on fire! I'm on fire!" Well, yep, yep. We'll just have to let the building burn, all right. I'm sure everyone in here is out safe and sound and such. I'm in here with my toaster and such. Did you hear something, guys? Like, I don't know, like, it sounds like the mosquitoes buzzing around and everything. I really hate this job!
But yeah, besides that stupid part, I actually love this episode, especially with the solution to come up with using old slow coach as the new house for the workmen. Brilliant.
Yeah, like
solution.
honestly, like pretty much as like Percy Driver said, it's just like, "What a good idea, Percy," said the driver.
And I don't have to.
And honestly, like I really do like Alec Baldwin's like interpretation of like also Coach as well too. Like she actually does sound like pretty beautiful with the way like he voices her.
Oh, I agree. I can't thank you enough.
Enough. I feel splendid.
Love.
Then they buffered up to her
and said then they puffed happily for her new home. Classic. Honestly,
yeah, pretty much classic right there.
That's one of my favorite episodes from the entire season.
Same here. Like honestly, honestly, right here, like there's another episode where pretty much again, like, pretty much you get like the goosebump, like a chilling scene with like the two fires and everything. First with like James's fuel tankers, and then another one at the fireman's hut and such. And then pretty much after that, you get like a very happy resolution where like pretty much not only do the firefighters going to have like a temporary home until their own house is like rebuilt again, but pretty much like yeah, Percy and Thomas have found a way to like save old Coach from like being scrapped and everything. Which again, another classic another classic story right there and such.
I agree. Yeah. So honestly, this. I'm glad this episode's on here. Period.
Yes, me too. But honestly, there's one episode in here that, as a kid and everything, I rewind this episode again and again and again. And pretty much so much so that as a kid, it literally became my all-time favorite. Not only just my all-time favorite season 5 episode, but my all-time favorite Thomas episode for a very long while and everything. Busy going backwards.
Is it still your favorite as of today, or it changed completely?
It's still my favorite. Everything like honestly, between this and Special Funnel and everything, like these episodes could definitely go hand in hand. As to like Thomas episodes, I still remember the most to this day, and I can still find some enjoyment out of these episodes to this day and such.
Well,
honestly, there's one reason why I love Busy Going Backwards. I'm sure all of you know by now. The Runaway.
Yes, which we're gonna get to in just a second. I just wanted to mention, if you guys are interested, what is my favorite episode of the entire show? Well, the only hint I'll give is that we won't see that episode until 2004.
Yes, pretty much yes.
But yeah, anyway, so Busy Going Backwards. The Runaway. What can I say?
I mean, honestly, like this is not only is pretty much that's what this whole show is about. Like, well, at least like I should say this episode and everything because while the show has had like Runaways before it in the past and everything, like the Runaways always serves more as like either an action middle pack like a scene and everything to like help us get to like the climactic ending of an episode, or pretty much like the Runaways sometimes like serves as like that a climactic like ending as well too, where pretty much like pretty much you knew something was about to go down and everything. And pretty much like with the action and such, like the Runaway really does capture like the sheer like action scene going on in like whatever episode and everything. Here and everything, like pretty much that's really what the whole episode is about. Where right after like in the beginning of the episode, where Toad is like complaining about like never being able to go forwards and such, the trucks were just like, oh, he wants to go forwards? Well, we'll let him go forward, right, boys? And then as soon as they get to Gordon's Hill and you hear that coupling snap, you knew that you were going to be in for a fun ride because pretty much like not only do you get like a little bit of that Runaway theme and everything.
Let me go ahead. Not only you get that Runaway thing, you also get the William Tell Overture.
Yes, which honestly, now that I think about it and everything, like I don't remember which one I had first. I don't know, like if I remember having Cranky Bugs first, or if I had like that Baby Einstein's like Baby Van Gogh VHS version and everything. But I do remember one way or another, like as soon as I heard that William Tell song, as a kid, like my brain like went off. My brain went off, and I was like being very. I remember being very excited as soon as I heard that William Tell like overtune theme and everything, because I was just like, wait a minute, I know that theme song. And pretty much, yeah, like as soon as that Runaway started and everything, it's nothing but pure chaos and fun from here on out and such. Like, pretty much that Runaway is the only Runaway I still remember to this day and still have a lot of fun with. Like, and honestly, like seeing the behind the scenes footage of how that like Runaway, how that Runaway scene was even made to begin with and everything, I give nothing but mad props to like the crew and everything, because I could only imagine like how much of a nightmare it was to like get towed in the trucks to like run pretty much like run as fast as they could along that line and such.
Do you know how many takes it took to get the shot of the trucks passing James, right?
Oh, I pretty much I can imagine it had to be more than a dozen and such.
3 takes it took to get it right, from what I remember. 3 takes. So holy shit. And also, I want to talk about Gordon for a second in this episode, because this asshole basically hurts Toad's feelings, but then he gets the best karma ever. Where you see Toad about to crash onto him.
Yes, but I mean, honestly, that's actually perfect right there and everything, because like pretty much like as Barney said and everything, pretty much right at the beginning of the episode when Toad pretty much wishes to go forward, what does Gordon say? You can't be a leader without a trade. You don't have a trade, Gordon said. And then sooner or later, like right after like a Toad literally like crashes through like the level crossing and everything, who is the first engine that he meets? Who is the first engine that he meets to where like he could like potentially crash into? Gordon! Holy shit!
But then the signalman changed the points.
Just in time. And pretty much I can imagine this Gordon just be like, holy shit, like, he actually went forwards.
Oh my god, talk about karma.
I know. And you know what I just realized this as well too? Like, you do realize that like throughout this whole runaway, Toad actually passed by all of the 3 biggest assholes on the island.
Yes.
Somewhere,
holy shit! I actually didn't even. Yeah, you're right.
Right, pretty much the first engine he saw was Gordon, and the second engine he saw was James, who was actually moving and such, and getting ready to like crash into him and everything. Oh my goodness! Or pretty much was either oh my goodness, or if you're from the UK, yikes! Help! Save me!
Who? Cool. And then at the very end, he passes Henry.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was pretty much Henry doesn't get a line. He just whistles, where he's just like, "Holy shit, what's going on?"
And then straight into a muddy pool.
Look, stop that, lass.
Or you're from the UK.
Okay, honestly, for that one, like, I was gonna say I had to give credit for like Angela's. Like, I think Angela's handled that scene a lot more better. Stop that, lass.
And then the
And pretty much what I was gonna say, like, yeah, and then as soon as Oliver finally does catch up to Toad, where does he say? A pond is the only place for Toad, I suppose. I can imagine Toad for once would just be like, Mr. Oliver, you know what? Even I'm not above to curse you out, right?
And then the ending, I have to say it. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Oliver, if I caused you any embarrassment.
That's all right, Toad. So, what do you think of going forwards?
It was fun.
Decided Toad.
But from now on, I'll be happy to look forward to the future, busy going backwards, so to speak.
Roll credits. Which, like, yeah, like, right off the bat and everything, but, like, honestly, like, there's no contest and everything. Alec Baldwin does the best for, like, both Oliver and Toad, especially Oliver. Like, honestly, like, I cannot picture a more perfect, like, voice for Oliver, other than, like, Alec Baldwin's version of him.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
I agree.
And yeah,
but yeah, and pretty much not only is this perfect, but honestly, this episode is just perfect from here on out and everything. Like, it's still as far as I remembered it as a kid, and like honestly, like watching it 2 times and everything, it's very easy for me to see like why like it's pretty much easy for me to see why like I rewind this episode so many times as a kid and everything. Because like I said, like. This is an episode where it's nothing but the Runaway and everything. And for anyone that actually did love Runaways as much as I did as a kid, pretty much this was a well made treat for all of us.
I agree, and we want to see this William Tell Overture return until
Until a
another
very certain DVD coming up real soon.
yeah, which I'm not gonna say what it is because if not, I'll spoil the surprise as to what's my favorite episode of the entire show. So I'm not gonna say because I don't want to spoil the surprise. But yeah,
Yes.
then we end the tape with a better view for
Better
Gordon.
view for Gordon. So go right ahead. I already did basically going backwards, so you take this one.
All right. So the first thing I'm gonna say is I wrote in my notes the beginning of Bitch Gordon where he's always grumpy.
Because I'm a big blue engine and I know everything. I shall be playing wherever I want. You're just a small red engine with ideas above your station.
Honestly,
And you know what? With the way that like you said that and everything, I think Alec Baldwin giving Gordon stupid voice actually pretty much actually makes him all the more funny in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. Honestly, I'll be honest with this. A Bitch Gordon. A lot of people think this type of Gordon, this version of Gordon started in season 6. No, it actually started in this season. And
season 5 and such.
And this is the beginning where Gordon is like this unlikable prick, where he's like always grumpy. Very rarely his kind side comes out. Which on the one hand it's kind of cool, but at the same time I'm like, you guys do realize that he does have a soft side at times.
Yeah. But yeah, which is true and such, because honestly, yeah, and I think about it and everything, like, the only time, like, in the season where, like, I could think of, like, Gordon doing actually, like, something Ryan actually wanted to, like, do a good job is actually, like, a Gordon and a Gremlin and such, because even in this episode and everything, like, pretty much at first, Gordon did not want to, like, be the engine to test a new station and everything. Like, he was ready to pass the job on to Henry and everything. And it's only because the job of had used the famous "You will do as you are told," or "So help." You will do as you are told, or "So help me." I'm gonna give the express to James from now on, and you're gonna have to do goods work for the rest of the year, asshole.
So Gordon did.
I
love, and of course we can't forget about
I can't see any, said Percy. Where are they?
What?
Ideas about the station. The sky is empty.
Like your brain, Percy.
And then you see Percy with that, you motherfucker.
Motherfucker. But Gordon was still grumpy. One day I'll show you just what a big engine can really do.
So what can a big engine really do?
Not speak to silly little green.
We dumbasses for a start.
That line still makes me laugh. Like, don't speak to silly little
green engines for a start. I mean, honestly, you know what? Pretty much like I said, we're never going to get a season like season 5 ever again. Like, honestly, no joke. Like, pretty much this is the closest to a season we're ever going to get. This is the closest to any Thomas season we're going to get. If Thomas actually was made for, like, a more mature audience. Like pretty much let's say that, in the alternate universe that, like, Britt and David went up to something like Adult Swim and was just like, hey, can you write like season 5 of like Thomas for us, but still make it as kid friendly as you can? Pretty much these are the type of episodes I can imagine Adult Swim probably would have written for Thomas and Friends.
And no doubt they would have tried to drop some F-bombs. F-bombs in the sense but family friendly F-bombs, you know what I mean.
Don't speak to 40 little green urchins for a start. Oh, phew. For a second there, I thought he was going to use the other F-bomb. Oh, well, actually. And then pretty much they showed the other reel where pretty much it was just like, don't speak to silly fucking green urchins for a start.
Honestly, to me, this is the one episode where I'm like, oh my god, yeah. This episode makes it clear season 5 is not fucking around.
No, it's not. Pretty much like I said, like, honestly, in a way I think about it. And
actually, I forgot to mention, this and Horrid Laurie made it clear that season 5 is not going to play around.
No, like, pretty much it's made clear right off the bat. And honestly, this is another reason why I love season 5. Pretty much it's like, you could tell that, like, as the season went and everything, like, it felt like the show was actually maturing alongside, like, its television audience and such. And season 5 definitely showed to where, like, pretty much, like, even though it still had, like, it still has some funny moments and funny, like, crashes and runaways for the kids to enjoy and everything, these lines definitely feel like lines that are definitely going to appeal to the more older audience and such. And honestly, this right here is probably the reason why I still love season 5 to this day, and will still always regard as one of my favorite seasons of Thomas and such.
Do you consider it your favorite season of the entire show?
I mean, honestly, like between this and season 4 and everything, yeah, both those seasons can really go like hand in hand. To me, what I consider like the true Thomas experience, honestly.
Understandable. Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely in my top 5, but it's not my favorite season of the entire show.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
All right, so I was going back to the not speak to silly little green engines. I love how after that scene you see Thomas, Henry, and James
Pretty much all laughing, and Percy is just like, "You didn't have to be so rude, Gordon."
Mommy, hear my feelings.
and then pretty much, of course, Gordon being Gordon, it's just like, "You'll cry about it, bitch. I don't care, bye."
And then after this, like, Gordon, you'll be taking an entry express to test our new station. You can make up time afterwards.
Why can't Henry do it? He likes island stations because you are the main character for this episode. And like I said, if you don't do this, so help me, say bye-bye to your Express, you big... Say bye-bye to your Express, you big galloping sausage.
So Gordon
did.
and yeah, honestly, to me, I think this might be my favorite Gordon episode of the entire show, in my opinion.
Oh, I can see why and everything. Like, I pretty much like this is Gordon at both as like his worst, but at the same time, like as the episode goes on and everything, like in some way you feel kind of a bit sorry for Gordon as well too, with like all these problems that he keeps on happening and everything. We're pretty much like, we're pretty much like, at one moment, like, he has a good mood and everything, and then at another moment, as soon as he like comes to a stop at the station, like pretty much his first bad move comes to the station itself, where he realized that like, oh my god, this view sucks. What a panoramic view, okay?
Where I can see people and people can see me. And then he leaves the station, and then something breaks inside of him.
Yeah, pretty much the cylinder breaks, and like he has to get stopped to a siding. And pretty much like, yeah, the first thing he said was, "What happened?"
Something's
broken inside. And pretty much only that, like, here comes the engine that like Gordon was being disrespectful to, aka James. And what does James do?
Well, so much for going about everything. You got two popped up in your boiler, so it serves you
right. And again, pretty much going back to that rule of thumb in the island soda. Shut up, or else karma's gonna bite you in the butt.
Basically, don't throw morality out the window.
Don't be an asshole or show off unless pretty much like you want your life to become a little bit more exciting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But this is only the first half. The second half.
The second half is pretty much again this is the second half where pretty much like the music, the scene, and the build-up again really pays off very well.
Then there was trouble. As Gordon approached the new station,
neither the driver nor fireman
could apply his brakes. Something had jammed.
The driver reduced steam, but Gordon was still going too fast. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
And then he crashed into the station. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the beginning of the station joke meme.
Help me, please. Or pretty much in the UK version, help me, please.
And I don't know if you saw the outtakes for this episode, but they actually
yeah, like I pretty much that crash really had to be like a film a couple times. I do know there was one moment where like the wall actually did break, but you don't actually see Gordon like crashing through the wall in of itself.
It took 4 takes to get that scene right. 4 takes.
Dang.
And also, you might be wondering, the humans got hurt, yeah? Well, they actually filmed them getting hurt inside the cab.
They did. So pretty much like, pretty much the only time where like not even Alec Baldwin or Michael Angeles has the excuse to say, luckily no one was hurt, because someone actually did got hurt. Like pretty much I think it was like the fireman or driver that actually has a cast on his arm, and so Tom had got a black eye.
Yeah, and they actually filmed that scene of the crash. It's on the outtakes, and
they did. Where pretty much like you see like pretty much you see Gordon's crew and Top of Hat pretty much laying right inside Gordon's cabin. I can imagine Top of Hat just being like, why did I hire these engines again?
And I think you can guess why that wasn't used.
Yeah, I can imagine everything because yeah, because pretty much I can imagine that like, honestly, I can imagine that like I had kids saw that episode back in the day and everything. That'd be pretty much they would just be like, oh my god, so which is really, oh my god, so the driver's environments really can't get hurt.
So, but yeah, honestly, to me, like I said, this is my favorite Gordon episode of the entire show. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's possibly one of my top 5 season 5 episodes as well.
Oh, I agree, and so it's like honestly, like yeah, this pretty much this is the episode that not only screams season 5, but it just screams Gordon in general.
Gordon, yeah, perfect, yeah, totally. So yeah, there you go. That's a better beat for Gordon. So you have anything else to say before we move on to the sing-alongs?
Honestly, you really said everything I was going to say. Honestly, because yeah, like I said, much like with Busy going backwards, this was another episode that I would watch time and time again. I guess the only thing that we really could say about this episode, because honestly, this is a very well known fact at this point. But yeah, this was another episode that actually got inspired by a real life incident that happened in France, of all places, in 1895.
Yeah, and it's basically almost it happened. It happened basically as the train was running late. So the
Yeah,
driver,
pretty much the train was running late, and like the driver was trying to stop the train, but much like with Gore and everything, like pretty much something happened inside the train, and where like yeah, it was way too impossible to stop at this point. So pretty much everyone had to literally bolt out of the station before the train crashed through the window. And pretty much unlike with Gordon, where he just like dangled from the building, the train actually fell down from the building itself and landed right on the streets. And although sadly, one person did lose his life because of that.
yeah, and it was a woman down at the bottom. Yeah, it was a woman that was doing
Yeah.
something, and then at the yeah, and
So
you might be wondering,
like,
you might be
so pretty
wondering,
much as always, rest in peace to that woman.
and you might be wondering what happened to the driver and fireman that were controlling that train. Well, they were fined actually.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, they deserved it for for that crash because they lost, and they actually had to pay the woman's children the to go to university. You know, the payments that were given to the family were used for her children to go to university. So
Yeah, honestly, I can imagine it and everything because, like, yeah, with an accident like that and everything, like, yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck in getting away scot free and such.
yeah, holy shit. But yeah, there you go. That's a better for Gordon. Now, let's get into the songs. And honestly, the VHS has only one music video, which is Night Train.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I think they picked a great song to end off, the tape because you ended the previous episode with it was action packed, but then we take things to down a level and it's just relaxing.
Mm-hmm. Which honestly, like, yeah, now that you said that and everything, like, yeah, like, compared to all the episodes that like we've had on like with Cranky Bugs and other stories and everything, especially with like Better View for Gordon, yeah, you do have a point because like pretty much as you said, like we have an episode that like was action packed, like pretty loud action packed with the runaway theme and everything, a crash scene, and then pretty much like to have a song where it's just nothing but calm, relaxing, like pretty much like get the kid, pretty much get the kids to like I pretty much be calm in of themselves and everything. Like, honestly, like, yeah, the more I think about it and everything, like, yeah, this was definitely like a very like good song and everything to literally like not only add on the VHS, but literally be the first song to start off the season 5 sing-alongs and such.
Yeah, and honestly, I was the more I think about it, I was very disappointed that they took it out of the DVD and replaced it with Toby and Donald Stuck, because I'll be honest, if you take out that song, it kind of destroys the mood of the original tape.
Yeah, honestly, I can definitely see where you're coming from in that notion and everything. Because yeah, the first time I got like a Cranky Bugs on DVD, I was very surprised to find out that like yeah, Night Train was nowhere near to be found on the sing along whatsoever.
It was moved to Spills and Chills, actually.
Yes.
Which actually,
which honestly, at that point, everything like I do understand why it was moved to Spills and Chills because pretty much like yeah, spoiler alert with Spills and Chills, there are a lot of like episodes that do take place at night and everything. So in that regard, I can see like why Night Train was moved to that DVD and everything. But honestly, I am with Bonnie and everything, and that like at the very least, like I think they still should have kept it with like they definitely still should have kept it within this DVD and like either keep either Toby or Donald or either Donald Stuck on it and just move one of those songs to like Spills and Chills instead.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, you're right, because it just destroys the mood of the tape, because You watch some some
But honestly,
action.
like the fun fact and everything, like when I was a kid, but honestly, like the fun fact and everything, like when I was a kid and everything, like Night Train was one of those like season 5 songs I always just found okay as a kid and everything. Like it was definitely a song and everything where like pretty much like I had to like be a lot more older to like appreciate not only the lyrics but even like the way the instruments came together and such.
Yeah, because considering there's much more exciting season 5 songs, besides that one, as a kid, you're
Oh yeah,
basically
like I pretty much like in the pretty much in the very next episode and everything, we're gonna have a song that is still overplayed to this day among the Thomas fans.
overplayed, and all you have to do is basically make a video of the train scratching, and then you get a gazillion views immediately.
And pretty much make a video of the trains crashing, and there you go. There's a billion views on YouTube.
And that was a trend we'll discuss that when we get to the next episode. But that was a trend that happened a lot when I was a kid. Because no matter whoever did it, if you no, it only took some trains crashing, put that song, and boom, millions of views immediately.
Pretty much.
But yeah, there you go. That's Cranky Bugs and Other Thomas Stories. Honestly, this is much better than Make Someone Happy. No question about it.
Oh, I agree. I agree by a long shot. And you know what? That's not even like a covering like this cover art right here too. Because yes, pretty much like we said in like a Make Someone Happy. This was the very first time we got this cover art for like pretty much like all the Thomas VHS and DVDs up until like Hooray for Thomas in like a season 7. And honestly, for the very first one and everything, like honestly, they really nailed the aesthetics very great in this one.
Yes, look at that. I am basically a little bit wary of that Thomas in the front cover because the UK actually and this just
Yeah,
might be
I pretty much will admit, like that Thomas actually does look like the kind of Thomas you would see at like a creepy pasta story, and so it's like, yeah, honestly, looking at it more and everything, like, yeah, that Thomas definitely. Honestly, I think it's more so the face. I think it's the face that definitely makes it uncanny.
and actually that Thomas was very overused because I have a couple DVD of the complete seasons on my shelf right now, and they love to overuse that Thomas to death. No joke.
Oh yeah, I can believe you on that. I can definitely believe you. Honestly, like I just realized this right now, but pretty much that Cranky and Percy art in the bottom and everything. That's actually taken from the episode. It's actually going to appear in the next episode, actually.
Yes, that's the one at the bottom. Yeah, that's Howard Laurie. Actually, that's from the next episode. That's from the next episode we're gonna cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go, guys. So that's Cranky.
It still works, honestly.
Yeah, it does work. So yeah, there you go, guys. So for me, I'm gonna give Cranky Bugs a solid 9 out of 10.
All right, and you know what? Honestly, like, yeah, I have no complaints. Like, for me and everything. Like, honestly, you know what? Like, yeah, with Double Teething Troubles and pretty much Double Teething Troubles being the only episode that's just like okay at the very best and everything. I see no reason not to get this, not to get the DVD a 9 as well too on my end.
And the tape as well, because same thing, just different order, different bonus features.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, there you go, guys. That was Cranky Bugs. Now, you know the drill. You know what this means.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Thomas and Friends DVD experience. Welcome to the island of Sodor. I'm Sir Topham Hatt, and this is Thomas. We will be your tour guides as you join Percy, James, Harold, and the rest of your Sodor friends for the exciting adventures of Cranky Bugs and other Thomas stories. Thomas is getting ready to leave the station, so get your tickets and hop on board for non-stop excitement. Here we go! Hi, I'm Cranky the Crane, and I work really hard down here at the docks, loading and unloading freight. From way up here, I can see the entire island of Sodor, and there are a lot of fun places you should visit during your stay. Don't forget to visit the Story Stop Station, the Character Gallery, and the Sing-Along Depot. Have a great time.
And here we are, Cranky Bugs and Other Thomas Stories. Honestly, I love the intro. I already love the intro at the very beginning.
Oh, same here. Like, honestly, like, there's one thing I will give to, like, season 5, at least when it comes to, like, this racist rescues or runaways and spills and chills. So I actually do like that for each of the DVDs, they actually do give you like different characters for like each of the main menus, depending on like who's going to be featured on said DVD and such.
Yeah, so in this case, it's Cranky. And one thing I love about that intro is that, I don't know if you remember this, but every time you get to the before, when Sir Thomas says, Thomas is getting ready to leave the station, you think it's going to stop in one particular character, but no, it then moves the camera to the character that we're going to be, staying on. Classic.
Yeah, and pretty much like honestly, that's also a very nice touch as well too, and such.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go. This is our episode, Cranky Bucks. He has birthday party.
Yeah, double teething, Thomas Percy, slow coach.
Busy going backwards.
Review and busy going backwards.
And Barry Gordon, yeah. Now let's go to the sing along.
And as always, here we are, Toby and Donald stuck. No Night Train. You want Night Train? You got pretty much you have to own like the Spills and Chills DVD.
Which we're gonna get to in a couple episodes from now. So yeah, and then
pretty much you got the character gallery, which, like we said, is the same as before and everything. So really, no use.
It's basically the same as Best of Thomas. So there's no point in actually,
Yeah.
And yeah, web from if you like to visit the official, blah 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 blah. We know the drill. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go, guys. That was Cranky Bucks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode because this menu is kind of empty. It's very quick, very simple.
Yeah, very simple. Pretty much like between this again, Racist Rescues and Spills and Chills. This is the only menu you're gonna be getting from season 5 and stuff from here on out and everything. So it's never gonna take a bit of a while until we get to another Thomas like DVD menu to where like there are actually activities for me and Barney to play and show you guys.
Yeah, so it's not going to be until the episode after the next one that we're actually going to go back to the station menu, if you know what I'm talking about. So yeah. So yeah, guys, that was Cranky Bucks. So you guys enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you guys want to see more episodes of this series, hit that subscribe button as well. Actually, I'm going to say I'm actually having a lot of fun, going through this series chronologically.
Well, same here, honestly. Like, pretty much, like, honestly, I'm very glad that we decided to do this in like a release date order and everything, because it definitely shows us on like how these DVD like menus like have evolved like throughout the years and everything. Sometimes for the better, and then once we get to many years later, it's definitely gonna be for the worse.
It's definitely gonna be for the worst. Wait till we get to a couple of ones from the hit era, which boy.
Oh yes, especially when we get to season 10.
Season 10, yeah, especially season 10. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to hit the like button and stay tuned because next time when we come back, we're gonna
be having a race. Someone's gonna run away, but don't worry, we will rescue them in the end with races, rescues, and runaways.
So anyway, folks, stay tuned for that one because that's gonna be coming very, very soon. So until then, this has been Bonnie with
ZecoaTheDiesel
saying thank you for watching, and we'll be seeing you guys in episode 5 of Thomas and Friends Home Video Review. So until then, folks, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye, everybody.